You're watching QTV. This is the news with me, Mamadou Gajaga. In this edition, Constitutional Review Commission frustrated over lack of adequate funds. Brikama market reopens following devastating fire outbreak. Youth Empowerment Project launched mini grant loan scheme to support businesses across the Gambia. Relevant stakeholders jet into Lagos ahead of Africa's largest entrepreneurship forum. Those were our top stories, and now the news in detail. Chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission, Justice General Jallo, has expressed frustration over the lack of adequate funding for the CRC. He was speaking to journalists on Tuesday at a press conference held at the CRC Secretariat in Kotu. Ansumana Isonyasi was there, and he now tells us more.
The chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission, Justice General Jallo, has expressed concern over the financial and other resource constraints faced by the commission. He was speaking at a press conference organized by the CRC to brief the media on the progress of the commission since its inception in June this year. He said the commission, through support from the Attorney General's chambers and the Ministry of Justice, has established 2 independent accounts with the Central Bank of the Gambia.
Considering the short window of 18 months within which the CRC is to deliver on its mandate, it is crucial that the Commission's work is not hampered by unnecessary bureaucratic processes and procedures, which have the potential to slow down the progress of the Commission's work. This is not only recognized, this compromises the assurance of proper efficiency and effectiveness.
Chairman Jallo, while acknowledging the Ministry of Justice efforts to provide adequate funds, was quick to point out that the CRC has been operating on ad hoc funding since its inception, and this potentially compromises long-term planning and the CRC's capability to keep to the terms of its action plan.
Securing adequate financial resources has unfortunately become one of the biggest challenges the Commission is currently grappling with as it endeavors to implement its action plan, carry out interface consultations with the Gambian public at home and abroad, and run the Secretariat smoothly. The time frame for the public consultations is from October 2018 to June 2019.
On the progress of the CRC so far, the chairman said the commission has now established a fully functioning secretariat and 12 regional coordinators have been deployed to the various regions. He also reported that the commission has recently held orientations and trainings for secretariat staff on the CRC Act, Strategies, Code of Conduct and Action Plan. The CRC public consultations, he said, are set to commence in the North Bank region on Monday 29 October and are expected to last until January 2019. For QTV News, I am Ansumana Isonyasi.
Following the fire outbreak at the Brikama market on October 3rd, destroying 35 shops, the Brikama Area Council, in collaboration with the Brikama Market Vendors Association, on Wednesday conducted a Quranic recitation to mark the reopening of the market to the general public. Babukar Sise and Mamadou Ba attended the opening ceremony, and they now report.
For those of you that have been following us, be it on radio or also on QTV, with regards to the fire disaster outbreak that happened in Brikama market, where 35 stall owners were affected and their shops were all burned down, leaving them with nothing, and also leaving them in a situation where it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to provide for their families, be it with feeding, shelter, clothing, and so on. But with efforts of the Q Group, as part of our efforts, to contribute to our social corporate responsibility, the chairman of the Q Group, through the Q Group, donated an amount of $1 million.
At the reopening ceremony, the CEO of Brikama Area Council, Mamset Jallo, thanked the Q Group for taking the initiative to help the fire victims through its donation and the setting up of the Brikama Fire Disaster Relief Fund. There had been many fire outbreaks in this market. When this one happened, someone just came out and gave $1 million. That has never happened before, as far as I can remember. This should be a sign to all Muslims. After that, a bank account was also opened at Aji Bank for people to donate, and that has never happened here too. Speaking on behalf of the CEO of the Q Group, The senior manager, sales and marketing of QCell, Mr. Lamin Yafa, said the Q Group is a Gambian business entity that will never relent in helping other businesses in times of need. He thanked Brikama Area Council and the Market Vendors Association for working hand in hand to achieve their aspirations. Amin Jai, a victim who lost 2 shops in the blaze, thanked the Q Group and all the donors for their benevolence. He said they need more help and pleaded to the general public for more assistance.
am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi toog seen palaas yi ba tey ubbeeguñ li ñoo def si palaas yi moo amagut ndax 1 million bi ñoo biñ ko séddalee moom lañ defaree palaas yi taxaw na.
Some vendors are still waiting to open their shops because they don't have money to buy merchandise. We have already spent the $1 million to build our shops. The structures are in place, but nothing to put inside. We are pleading to Q Group to withdraw the remaining money and give it to us so that we buy stuff for our shops. But please, we are appealing to Q Group not to close the bank account at Ajib Bank so that others can also make their donations. The shops and canteens have been repainted by the Brikama Market Vendors Association using the famous QCell orange color and renaming the strip of the Brikama Market Q Corner. For QTV News, I am Babukar Sise.
The Youth Empowerment Project, YEP, in partnership with Social Development Fund on Wednesday, launched a new project called the Mini Loan Scheme at the YEP Enterprise Development Center in Bakau. The project, as Omar P. Jallo reports, is aimed at improving youth access to finance for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises across the country.
The scheme is targeted at existing businesses with growth potential to complement other YEP initiatives in supporting entrepreneurship and job creation. The YEP package also includes training, coaching, facilitation of market linkages, and provisions for start-up capital. The YEP project manager, Raymond Mosa, reassured us that the project will support the economic development of the Gambia by enhancing the employability and self-employment opportunities of the youth. The project focuses on vocational training, entrepreneurship support, and the improvement of employment opportunities in selected sectors through market linkages.
Today, this morning, we launched the Youth Empowerment Project Mini Loan Scheme, which is a new innovative financing scheme for young entrepreneurs to get easier and better conditions when they are accessing loans. This is a new financial instrument that we have launched in partnership with the Social Development Fund, SDF, and it is a scheme that is complementing existing support that we are already offering for young entrepreneurs here in the Gambia, notably under the Mini Grant Scheme, which is administered by NACOG. So we have today launched a second scheme, the Mini Loan Scheme, which provides support in form of access to funding for companies who are particularly already existing companies who are in need of capital to grow their ventures.
The YEP project is funded by the European Union's Trust Fund for Africa and is implemented by the International Trade Center in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. His Excellency Attila Lajos is the ambassador of the EU delegation in the Gambia.
When considering the private sector and its role in job creation, I believe facilitating access to finance is one of the main ways that the European Union can support the Gambia to achieve inclusive and sustainable growth. And that is why I'm very happy to be here today at the launching of this mini loan scheme in the Youth Empowerment Project, commonly known YEP. For one may have the best business idea and first-class entrepreneurial skills, but no business is going to take off without funding. Any entrepreneur can tell you that support, and we already heard it, that support through training, market linkages, and mentoring, among others, needs to go hand in hand with the provision of access to finance. In the Gambia, access to capital is one of the most bitter bottlenecks for young people to set up and grow their businesses.
Delivering the launching statement, the Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, Amadou Sane, thanked the YEP project and SDF for complementing government efforts in creating employment for the youth of this country and assured them of his ministry and the government's continuous support.
On behalf of the government of this country and my ministry in particular, I would like to thank our partners, the European Union, the International Trade Center, which is the implementing agency for YEP, and the support institutions providing training to our young entrepreneurs and all stakeholders that are giving this special attention to the youths.
The Director General of Social Development Fund, Sonko Fofana, explains the process to access funds through the mini loan scheme.
The target beneficiaries for the mini loan scheme are young entrepreneurs, solely or in a group of MSMEs, meeting the following eligibility requirements. They must be no more than 35 years old, or sometimes one member, if you are in a group setup, one member can be more than 35 years if properly justified. Must have completed a course or program on entrepreneurship or business management in one of the entrepreneurship programs supported by the YEP, such as NEDI, the Empretech, Startup Incubator Gambia, partner TVET institutions, NGO, or other similar programs to be agreed subsequently. Must have a registered business, must provide a viable business plan, including budget, description of management, and an estimation of employment capacity. Must have the ability to repay the loan. It's not a grant, it's a loan, it will be paid. Have adequate collateral or a guarantee to match the outstanding part.
Representing the beneficiaries, the CEO of ML's Poultry Farm, Lamin Fati, and Mariama Jom, CEO of Africtest, both expressed delight and thanked the YEP project and SDF for supporting their businesses. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Africa's entrepreneurs, policymakers, and invited journalists have begun jetting into Lagos ahead of Thursday's fourth largest Africa Entrepreneurship Forum organized by the Tony Olemole Foundation. Attending the event on the invitation of the organizers, QTV's Aliou Cisse reports from Lagos.
The largest gathering of African entrepreneurs will unite over 5,000 entrepreneurs, global investors, leaders from the African public and private sectors, and developmental organizations at the Federal Palace Hotel in Lagos. The event, scheduled to open on Thursday, is a unique opportunity to generate ideas, forge networks, and bring policymakers and the private sector together in a spirit of robust debate and interactions. The 2018 cohort from the Tony Olemole Entrepreneurship Program, as well as mentors and partners, will be present. In keeping with the Foundation's track record, most recently with President Macron of France of bringing politicians face-to-face with the new generation of young business women and men shaping Africa, the forum will include an interactive session with President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya and President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana. This year's forum will also feature the launch of the TEF Connect, the world's largest digital platform for African entrepreneurs dedicated to connecting African entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship ecosystem. The Tony Olemole Foundation Entrepreneurship Program is a 10-year, $100 million commitment to identify, train, mentor, and fund 10,000 entrepreneurs. Its goal is to invest in businesses that will generate at least 1 million new jobs and contribute at least 10 billion in new annual revenues across Africa. In its fourth year, the Entrepreneurship Program has empowered over 4,000 entrepreneurs with a total investment of $20 million. Over the years, several Gambian entrepreneurs, including Momar Mastal, have benefited from the support rendered by the Foundation, with 5 entrepreneurs making the final selection this year and set to receive seed capital to implement their ideas. For the founder and billionaire Tony Olemole, the future of Africa lies in the hands of entrepreneurship, and therefore investing in the sector is the only way out. Reporting for QTV News from Lagos, Nigeria, I am Aliou Cisse.
Before we end this bulletin, we recap our main stories. Chairperson of the Constitutional Review Commission discussed the Commission's struggle to secure adequate funding. Brikama Area Council, in collaboration with the Brikama Vendors Association, reopens the market following devastating fire disaster. Youth Empowerment Project launches mini scheme in what is described as improving youth access to finance in areas of entrepreneurship. Meanwhile, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and journalists jet into Lagos ahead of the largest entrepreneurship forum in Africa. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news.